From the Oklahoman newsroom, this is an OSU update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Scott Wright, OSU beat writer. Scott, we're about a week out of the NFL Combine getting started up in Indianapolis. Cowboys will have 5 representatives going through drills. The 3 that most people know about, Mason Rudolph, James Washington, Marcell Ateman. We'll talk about him more here in just a second. But also going up there, Chris Lacy and Trey Flowers. I would guess those 2 probably have the most to prove.
They absolutely do. Chris Lacy was the one whenever the list came out, people were like, oh, hey, that's kind of cool, because obviously he didn't have the productive senior year that he wanted, but he'd had a really solid career. Shows you what the NFL thinks about wide receivers with speed and size like he has, being a pretty big guy out there. Also a guy that does those little things, goes out and throws the blocks and runs routes well, and those things that are important to NFL guys. And so absolutely, you know, he wasn't invited to a Senior Bowl type event, so this is his opportunity, along with the Oklahoma State Pro Day, to go out and show NFL types that he's got the skills to go and compete at the next level. The fact that he got the invitation is a really big deal, and important for him to show what he can do at the next level.
Now, NFL Combine starts on the 27th of February, next Tuesday. Then it'll be a few days before any of these position groups get out there, but quarterbacks and wide receivers, both of those will be in the group that goes out for drills on the field March 3rd. Then Trey Flowers, his group, the defensive backs, will be out there March 5th. But, you know, obviously a lot of people got a lot of looks at Rudolph, at Washington, got a lot of film on those guys, can look at a lot of that. Marcell Ateman, breakout senior year. We've written about it, we've talked about it, but now it looks like he's trying to go even a step further with some training to get ready for this Combine and Pro Day. What are you hearing about his training? Yeah,
he's been working out down in Texas, joined up with former Olympic sprinter and world record holder at one point, Michael Johnson, the guy back in '96 that went crazy in Atlanta, and so you know, trying to get that speed up. Marcell Ateman, being a big guy like he is, you know, a fraction of a second in the 40 time can be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars at the Combine for him, because they know he's got the size, they know what he can do in those situations where he uses his body. But if he can run a good 40 time, it's really going to turn some heads. And so getting one of the fastest guys ever in the country to come help you out is certainly not a bad idea. You know, he had a really good showing at the Senior Bowl, along with James Washington out there that week. And now, if he can take it another step further and show some improved speed and show the ability to get faster, it's really going to help him out at the draft.
As we've talked, 5 Cowboys at the Combine, a really nice number, and for a senior class that we felt like was going to be really good, that probably is a fitting number. But there are some guys that aren't there that we know had really productive careers as Cowboys, and they may be called when the draft rolls around. Who are maybe some names that top your mind when it comes to names we haven't seen in the Combine list but might be there on those draft days?
You know, one in particular that I was a little bit surprised not to see on the Combine list was Zach Crabtree, the right tackle. I think the NFL is putting a lot more stock in right tackle now. You know, left tackle was always the big thing and still is, but the right tackle is becoming so much more important because so many more defenses are moving their best defensive end over to attack the right tackle side, because that's where guys were putting their weaker tackle. So I think that Zach Crabtree had a strong showing at the Senior Bowl, played really well in that game against some good rush ends. I think that he's got a good chance at 6'7", 310 to get drafted. Even though he's not at the Combine, he'll have his chance to perform at Oklahoma State's Pro Day in March. And the one lingering name out there that you're not hearing a lot about that I think could surprise some people on draft weekend is DeQuinton Osborne. The defensive tackle is not your prototypical guy. He's not a big 6'3", 330-pound guy. He's in the 300-pound range, and maybe even has to stretch to get up to 6 feet tall. But his short area quickness, his ability to get under blocks and get around guys is going to be really valuable. They like the way that he can stop the run in the middle and provide a little bit of pressure. Maybe create the need for some double teams on the inside and help free things up for guys on the outside. So I think think that he's got a chance to sneak in somewhere. If the draft is all about finding one team that likes you, and if he has caught just one team's eye, I think he's got a chance to get drafted.
All right. Again, draft combine starts on the 27th of February. March 3rd is the day for quarterbacks and wide receivers, and then defensive backs on March 5th. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.